Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I am talking about the books I read in the month of March. It is currently the 30th, so I technically have today and tomorrow, but I actually am moving apartments next weekend, and I need to film now because I won't have time to film during the week and I won't have time to film next weekend. So here we are. Hi. Let's start by chronological order. So I'm gonna just pull out my Goodreads because that's gonna help me get my shiz together, get this list on lock, and tell you guys from A to B, well, more like A to Z, what's going on. P.S. If you haven't friended me on Goodreads and you have a Goodreads, why? Please go ahead and friend me. I want to be friends with everyone, and yeah, especially if you're active and you post reviews. I post reviews on every book I read, so let's be friends. Okay, shut up, Kendra. Let me get them off my shelf. Okay guys, the first book I read in the month of March was The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Choksi. If you watched my review, I said Chonski the whole time. Like, I genuinely thought her last name was Chonski up until maybe a week ago. So I apologize, Roshani Choksi, but I didn't mean to offend you. Moving on. I posted, like I just said, I posted an entire review on this book. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it had great bones. The bones of the story were great. The execution, not so much. The last 80 pages had me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and I really liked the characters. I mainly read The Gilded Wolves because I wanted to be part of the Books with Friends Club by Chloe, Books with Chloe, and so I tuned into the live show and everything, and I thought it was good, but not great, and I will carry on with the series. First of all, the cover's beautiful, one of the most beautiful covers ever. I will carry on with the series. I am very intrigued to see what happens next, but it could have been better. That's my piece on this book. I already did a review on it, so I just don't want to like talk about it too much because some of you guys might have already watched the review, and those who haven't, if you're curious, you can go watch the review. The next book I read, it was a reread of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I wish it was called Philosopher's Stone here in the United States of America because it's way cooler than the Sorcerer's Stone. It's way cooler to be the Philosopher's Stone. Amazing, obviously. I took my time with this one because I wanted to just soak it all in, and I did a little bit of audiobook, mainly because I have so many books on my plate that I'm like, the quicker I can get through this, or like, not the quicker I can get through this, but how can I continue on while I can't read? Like when I'm doing makeup or working, I can listen. And Stephen Fry is an amazing narrator for this book. Incredible, loved it, obviously. Loved it the 3rd time, because this is my 3rd time reading it, I think, and yeah. Obviously just wanted to read Harry Potter, but also one of my motivating factors is that I wanted to read every book and then watch the movie right after, and in June, well, early July, we're going to be in England, and I'm bloody excited. We are definitely going to the Warner Brothers studio tour to go see like the Harry Potter stuff there in London, so I'm very excited. The next book I read, you guys, if you watch my last reading vlog, you would know my heart and my obsession with A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I am in love with this book. I still think about it, and it's been a couple of days, weeks actually, because I think I finished this in like the middle of March. It is increíble, and everything about it makes my heart sing. I had maybe like two negative things to say about it, but I still gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. I think it's probably a 4.5 star book, but it's just, it didn't do it justice to give it only 4 stars. So it is a 4.5 to 5 star book in my opinion. This book is incredible. I am not a fairy tale retelling gal. I don't really love fairy tale retellings, basically because I want something new and fresh, but this was new and fresh, and it didn't feel like a fairy tale retelling, and I loved all of the characters. Like, there wasn't one character where I was like, ugh, this character wasn't written well. All of these characters were written well, and I highly, highly recommend. I'm forcing my sister to read this as her next read so that I have somebody to talk about it with, because your girl fell in love. Like, this easily became one of my favorite books of all time, like on my top list of favorite books, you know what I mean? So good. The next book I did was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I don't know if you guys have followed along on my Throne of Glass journey, but I'm currently now reading Tower of Dawn, so I'm on book 6, so then we have 7. This is book 0.5, so technically I've read 7, well, technically I'm on book, let's not confuse you. I have read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Empire of Storms, The Assassin's Blade, currently on Tower of Dawn. I did really like this, but I did 80% of it on audiobook, only 20% physical reading, and I think that just kept me from really connecting with it. I'm not a big fan of Selena before she was Aelin, you know, whatever. I don't really dislike her, I just have a hard time relating with her because she is this very unrealistic protagonist, if you ask me. But I did enjoy this. There are 5 novellas in here. I really liked 3 of them. The other 2 kind of, one was just good. It wasn't my favorite. It was good. It just wasn't my favorite. And then the other one was just slightly disappointing because I feel like they really pushed things, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm not gonna give anything away. But it was good. I wasn't very excited to read this book, and I think that's another reason why I'm just like, okay, sure, I got it out of the way. It was good, it's not my thing, but you know what I mean? I don't know. It was good, but it wasn't great in my opinion. Now, the next book I read was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and I don't know if you like have, well, it might not even be up, but I think it might not be up by now, but I did a reading vlog where I included this, and I was so hyped for this series, like this entire series, Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising, because I'm so freaking excited to read Six of Crows, like so excited to read Six of Crows, but I wanted to give this series my all. So I sat there and said, I'm going to read Shadow and Bone before I get into Six of Crows. Guys, I was so disappointed. So disappointed. The first 50 pages, not 50 pages, the first 50% of this book, I was obsessed with. Like, I flew through this. I read this entire book in 48 hours because of how obsessed I was. And I think that's why I was so disappointed, because of, I was on this high, like high from this book, and then it just straight up drop kicked me into hell. Like, that's how I feel about this book. I went from like heaven, drop kicked into hell because I was so disappointed. I'm literally just pushing books over. That's how passionate I am about this. The second half of this book really made me sad. The whole time I kept telling myself, no, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better, and then it didn't. It was so predictable, and I think predictability is okay because sometimes that's just the story. It doesn't matter how predictable your story is as long as it's well written and well executed. This was, sure, well written, very poorly executed in my opinion. I'm so disappointed. I'm like, I don't know what else to say. Let me kind of take some key points from my Goodreads review because this bish said a lot, okay? I'm not gonna read it off like I'm a boring person, but I'm gonna read it off. So I gave this book 2 stars. This might be the first book I've given 2 stars to because I'm really picky with what I read. And this had 4.04 star average on Goodreads. So I was like, thought like, I'm gonna love this, especially with the first half of the way this book went. I'm like, I'm going to love this. So I gave it a 2 stars, but I technically personally give it a 2.5 stars, but I definitely don't think it's worthy of a 3 star. I said 3 and held up 4. A 3-star value, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not gonna give it 3 stars, I'm gonna give it 2 stars, even though it's a 2.5 star, because I just don't think it deserves 3 stars. I was very close to rating this 2 stars though, because of how disappointed I was in it, like, not gonna lie. I think the world is so intriguing. I love the world, I love what Leigh Bardugo has created. I really like the magic in this, although it is slightly confusing, like, just slightly, not a lot, just slightly. This book was hella easy to comprehend. The writing is not fluffy, it's not like wordy or anything, super easy to comprehend. I really like the way Leigh Bardugo writes dialogue, but that's about it. Everything else was just like okay in my opinion. The love triangle was absolutely ridiculous. Hated every second of it because it was so predictable, and I hate the trope of like, I've been in love with my best friend for 15 years and he finally loves me back, but he doesn't love me back until a near death or life-shattering or life-altering experience. Like, kick that guy to the mother effing curb. Like, I'm sorry. If he doesn't realize what he had in front of him for 15 years, then you need to move on, and I'm being harsh, I know, but that's how passionate I am about this book. I think Alina was a great protagonist for the first half and then really fell flat for me in the second half. The Darkling is my favorite character of this book per se, and I should stop. The next book I read, let's move on, was Siege and Storm. So this is book 2. This was a 3-star read in my opinion. Better, but not great, and it was hella slow. There was zero to little action. The action all took place in the first 100 pages and then the last like 30 pages. So the middle 250 pages were just like this really slow moving, like what are we even doing here? The only good thing about this book was our new character Sturmhond, or I don't think this is a spoiler, but Nikolai, it's Nikolai if you didn't know. But I have never read this series and honestly haven't read any spoilers either, and I knew that Sturmhond was going to be Nikolai, so it can't be a giveaway, okay? He was the saving grace of this book, and I wish I had more. I wish we got more of him in this book, but we didn't. I mean, we did get a lot, but just not a ton. The main reason I'm going to read Ruin and Rising, which is book 3, is because of Sturmhond. I mean Nikolai. I don't know why I call him that. We don't even call him that anymore. I think he's a great character, and yeah, go ahead and read my Goodreads review if you're curious what I actually think. Because I'm not going to sit here and just like read the whole thing to you, but if you're curious, that's the way to go. Okay, and then the last book I have read, technically still reading, is Shatter Me by Tahera Mafi, and I'm a little bit more than halfway through. This book is really easy to get through. I have been flying through it basically because the writing is really intriguing and the character. Anyways, it's an easy to get through book. I'm not sure how I feel about this yet. I think if it doesn't change for me, I'll rate it 3 stars. I'm pretty sure I will keep going on with the series. The reason I'm including this in this video is because I have 2 days left of March, like tonight and tomorrow, and I'm for sure gonna finish this, so this is definitely gonna be a March read. Oh my gosh. But anyways, sorry, I've been talking so much. I do think I'm going to continue on with the series. I do think I'm going to enjoy the rest of the series. I think I would like it a lot better if I was like 17 or 18, but I'm like 25, almost 26 now. I don't want to say I don't like the main character because I like her, but I'm still just trying to figure her out because she definitely is acting like a 17-year-old, you know what I mean? Which is fine because this is a YA book. Like, this is targeted for 17-year-olds. But yes, I'm really intrigued by Warner. I want to get to know Warner more, and that is where I stand with Shatter Me. I do see myself continuing on with the series. Oh, and I wanted to mention that I buddy read this with Mijel. I talked about it in the reading vlog, but I'm not sure if the reading vlog is up yet. It might be up. Who knows if it is. I'll link it up here. But I did buddy read this with Mijel, and I think we kind of have the same thoughts on it. I think she might like it a little less than, maybe I'm being like a little bit like, maybe I'm dumbing myself down a little bit, because I totally think as a teenager I would have loved this book, like a 17, 18, 19-year-old would have loved this book. I think it's good, not great, but the rating of the books get better and better as the series like goes on. So I am hopeful for the future. I do see myself continuing on with it, and yeah.
Hello, I look amazing. No need to remind me. It is currently March, can you even see that? March 31st. And I was just coming in to say that I did in fact finish Shatter Me last night, and I really liked the ending a lot. I still gave the book 3 stars, but I definitely see potential with the rest of the series. But I wanted to pop in and say that I read Destroy Me, which is the 101-page novella that follows this, and it is in Warner's perspective. I gave that novella 5 stars. Like, it was incredible. I loved every second of it. It gave us so many answers, and so yeah, I really liked it a lot. So in this next clip you're about to see me say, oh yeah, I read 7 books. But technically it's 7 books and 1 novella. Just wanted to say that. Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Bye.
That is that. I read 6 books in the month of? 6 books. 7 books. I read 7 books in the month of March, which is probably an all-time high for me. Not to compete with anyone but myself, but I probably didn't do as much writing this month, and that's probably why I was reading more. That is my March wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. I'd love to have you join the family. And yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go though. Have a great morning, noon, evening, day, night, whenever happens to be that you're watching this, and I will see you in my next one.